Okay, we are recording this class. Okay, we got a lot of work to do. Well, right there, I would say over half the test is right there. Over half the test right there. And I already told you. Hey, somebody stole my cup. Yeah, 4 or 5. Okay, now tomorrow there's only one word problem where you're going to have to use your graphing calculator to calculate the maximum or minimum. And it's either going to be 6, 8, or 9 with something like that. I think last year I did number 9, but it was, instead of a cylinder, it was a cone or something. I don't know what it could be. 2 years ago it was number 8. So shall we take care of function 4 first? Any last questions? We didn't really have time yesterday. Now is the time to ask. Like I gave you that similar triangles thing yesterday. Did you guys actually solve for h? I mean, it wasn't that easy. That's why you solved for h. Shall we do it? Okay, because the problem, number 8, the probability that this problem is on tomorrow's test is probably 0.8. Just went up to 0.83 repeating. That's 5, 6 for those of you who don't know. Okay, here's the side view. This is the same thing, this is the class we did it in yesterday, didn't it? Okay, to draw, you always draw the radius to the point of tangency because it makes the right angle. In fact, are you guys taking PSAT this weekend? That's automatic. Anytime you have a circle and a tangent line, just draw the radius to the point of tangency because it makes the right angle. It should be automatic already. Now, do you guys see similar triangles in this problem? Yes, the big triangle is similar to this triangle right there, except you got to flip it over to get in the correct orientation. So let's label this thing. Express the volume of this cone as a function of the base radius r. So this is r. And the radius of the sphere is 1. So this is 1 and this is 1. Okay, so what's this is a what? This is a cone. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. So here is h. So we have to write somehow another equation so I can get rid of this h so I can graph it on my calculator, because your calculator can only graph one variable. So how do you do that? Similar triangles, and I keep telling you guys, if you guys have problems, draw the Papa Bear and the Mama Bear, whatever, separately. So in the Papa Bear, this is h and r. In the Baby Bear, you got to flip it over like that. That's 1. So what do I do? Well, if this is h and that's 1, isn't this part here h minus 1? Which is the hypotenuse of the Baby Bear. Which means I need to get the hypotenuse of the Mama Bear. So you got to use the Pythagorean Theorem. So now you can do this. Hypotenuse over short leg in the big triangle is equal to hypotenuse over short leg in the Baby Bear. There you go. At least if you write this down tomorrow, I probably give you 2 out of 8 points right there. But now you got to do work. But remember last time, remember the similar triangles? If you don't even write the similar triangles thing, that's automatic minus 8 already. So you got to get the correct similar triangles proportion. Okay, cross multiply, 1 times this equals, wait, something's wrong here. This is r, fool! R times h minus 1. Okay, now I have to solve for h. How the heck do I solve for h? What did you guys do? I don't know, I'm waiting for you to write something on the board. You square both sides, it's a radical! h squared plus, that's shameless. R squared times h squared minus 2h plus 1. You gotta square everything now, you're squaring both sides. Distribute the r squared. This is all algebra. There's no thinking involved there. And I bet you some things cancel out. Okay, now notice, what do you have? you have we're trying to solve for h. You have a quadratic, because it's h squared, but you have an h term. Do I need to use quadratic formula? Well, you can, but no. Okay, now, can you do this? Watch what I'm doing. I'm going to divide everything by h. Is that legal or what? Can you divide by h? No, you can't! Because you lose a solution if you do that. But how come you just did it, Mr. Park? Because what's the solution I'm losing when I divide both sides by h? H equals 0. Is it possible for the height of this cone to be 0? Wait, let me look. No! You're not going to have a cone if it's 0. So yes, I divided by h. I lost the solution h equals 0, but that's not a solution, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, look, this is just linear now. Put all the h's on one side. Put this on this side. Look, it's so pretty. 2r squared is equal to, factor out the h, r squared minus 1. So h is equal to 2r squared over r squared minus 1. There you go. That's h. Okay, you get that far, you get another 2 points. Take that, plug it in here. So the volume is 1/3 pi r squared times this, which is 2r squared over r squared minus 1. And you can pretty it up if you need to. Okay, now, you want the other 4 points? Graph this on your calculator, and then what does it say? Use your graphing calculator to find the value of r that will yield a minimum volume. So, what we want to know, what does this radius have to be so that the volume of this cone will be as small as possible? So what you want to do is graph this on your calculator, and you want to see the hump so you can calculate the minimum. Did you guys try that? No, I can do it tomorrow, Mr. Park. Every year they do that, they wait till tomorrow, and then... You guys gotta set the window. Okay, what's the window on this problem? What should I make x min and x max? Y min and y max? Okay, let me just ask you, what should x min be? No! 1. How come? Why? X represents the radius. Why does this radius here have to be bigger than 1? Because the radius of the sphere is 1. If you make the thing smaller than 1, the thing going that way. Gotta be bigger than 1. So I would say like 1 to, I don't know, 5 is probably good enough. And y represents the volume, so 0, I don't know, guess something, 10. That's probably too big, but that's okay. The main thing is you see the hump on your screen. You cannot just press the graph button. Just for that, the probability of this problem being on the test just went up to 0.9. Except, of course, not going to be 1, I'm going to change it to 2. But then, since I told you 2 can be 3. Maybe I should make it 2.5. Pi! I never did that before. Doesn't matter what number it is? No. Okay, any other questions on this? You guys gotta practice punching this in a calculator, because every single year I give this problem, I would say over 2/3 of the students, they get at least -4 because they cannot graph it on the calculator and calculate them in. Yeah.
Can you give an example answer for number 3 because it's not on 1?
Which one?
Number 3.
Oh, that's very good. No, number 3 is on the bottom. It's number 4. Yeah, so actually starting from number 4, you have to subtract 1 to make it correspond to these answers here. Because you know, I took out a problem over the summer, but then I forgot to change it in the answers. But isn't that good for you? You got 1 less problem to do, right? Plus, didn't I do like 2 of them in class? Okay, so I just told you the probability of this problem being on the test is 0.9 now. Right now it's either between this one. I don't think I'm going to give number 6 unless maybe I do this just to take you out. It's either between this one and number 9. I'm not sure yet. Okay. So we did that problem. All I can tell you is you better practice punching it in. Because that's 4 points right there. And then since we're at the end of the quarter, right, we're out of desperation mode. You need all the points you can get, right? Oh, by the way, wait. on class day, we finally got the schedule. I am scheduled to be at the tennis courts at... Oh, that's the worst possible time. Well, that's the way it is. I'm scheduled to be there from 11:30 to 12:30. So that's when you're going to earn as many points as possible. So look, yesterday I played Algebra 2B, tennis yesterday, and they won 1% added to their quarter average. That's because they were so sad. They were so sad. They were getting nothing. They had supposedly athletes in the class like Sele and who's the offensive line? Uehara, Kugia, McKenna. They didn't look like that. Anyway, I felt so sorry for them. Instead of like 1 point, I mean 1 percentage point. Maybe I'll do that for you guys on Thursday. We'll see. Okay, we're on function 5 now. Oh, you guys are so good. Even though everybody here did number 7, because I'll tell you right now, the probability is 1. That's on the test. Zane, what did you do for number 7? All you gotta do is write it on the board. My dog can scratch on the board. Okay, you guys better tell me. Okay, what about number 1? Can everybody cut that? Like I told you, finding domain. The inside of the radical greater than or equal to 0. Then do synthetic division. Did everybody do that? Make the number line. Okay, so we just go one at a time. 2 then. What about 2? No, I'm asking about 2. Did everybody? Now is the time to write it on your paper if you don't have it there. Blank paper, Zang. Try to cover it with the pencil case. Oh, that's dirty. That's shameless. So what about 2? You want 2? No, you guys understand what 2 is? You sure? Okay. So, see, now I got people saying no. It's not, don't be ashamed. 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. Yeah, that looks like the one on the quiz, like I told you. 2/3 of the test right there. On the board right there. Now it says g of x is equal to f of x. Okay, so how do you find g of x? You plug this into itself, right? F of x means take f and plug it into f. So here, if you have a hard time with this kind, just do this. Wherever you see x, put parentheses. Like that. And what do I plug in for x? F. So wherever you see x, you plug in f, which is 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. Okay, now you got to simplify this puppy. Multiply top and bottom by 3x plus 5. So you get 4x plus 6 plus 9x plus 15 all over 6x plus 9 plus 15x plus 25. And so your final answer is going to be 13x plus 21 over 21x plus 34. Holy Fibonacci! Those are all Fibonacci numbers. Okay, that's what g of x is. But then it says, find h of x. H of g of x gotta equal x. So you have to find a function h. So when I take this, this is g of x. If I plug that into h, your answer comes out to x. Well, this is where you gotta know something. If you have two functions, you plug one into the other, and the answer comes out x, what does that mean about these two functions? They're inverses of each other, so you have to know that, okay? If you have two functions, one is the inverse of each other, you plug one into the other, the answer comes out x all the time. So basically, I'm just, since you're plugging this in to get x, I'm just asking you to find the inverse of this. And do we know how to find the inverse of this? Yes, just like this problem over there. How do you find inverse? You switch the x's and y's, and then solve for y. I think you can solve for y, right? Because you guys did it on the quiz. Okay, so continue. See, so you gotta know stuff. Okay, then judging from my feeling about this class, we're doing number 3 then, yeah? Okay. Number 3. This one says find it. How do you find inverse? You switch the x's and y's. How many points do I get for switching the x's and y's, Mr. Park? Nothing! You don't get anything. Okay, maybe I'll give you one there. I'll give you one. Switch the x, because that's better than not knowing anything, right? Okay, you write that down on your paper tomorrow, I'll give you 1 out of 8. That's what you want. Okay, but now you gotta solve for y. How the heck do I solve for y, Mr. Park? Look, it's staring you in the face. You complete the cube. You guys know how to complete the square? Just complete the cube now. Okay, look. What number do I add here to make a perfect cube? Look, it's staring you in the face. 1, 3, 3, 1. So you add 1 to both sides. Have we forgotten Pascal's triangle? 1, 3, 3, 1? Apparently. Blaise Pascal, he's dead to me, Mr. Park. There. Y plus 1 cubed. See, it's a perfect cube. And then now, isn't it easy to solve for y? How do I get rid of the cube? You cube root both sides. And then subtract 1. Look at the... Yeah! Yee! Live action. Did you guys even watch the Call of the Wildman yet? You guys gotta go to Animal Planet and watch Call of the Wildman. I'll write it on the board. Call of the Wildman. Did I tell you about him? He catches critters with his hand. No, he lives in Kentucky. And then people they have like possums in their house, or raccoons, or bats, or rats, whatever. Whatever critters you have and you want to get rid of, you call the wild man. Well, he's actually called the turtle man. And he comes and he catches them in his hand. He puts them in a bag and he takes them to a sanctuary. He doesn't kill them. Anyway, when he gets them, he always goes, yay, 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 yay. Live action. You guys know what I mean? Animal Planet. You know what I'm talking about? Channel 70. Whatever. Maybe that's going to be an assignment. Maybe I should tape it and bring it to school. Except my VCR is broken. Hey, maybe we can watch it on the computer. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, next. Okay, number 4, find the range. This problem is on tomorrow's test. Find the range. Shall we do this problem? People, this looks like almost the one on the quiz. Yeah, but I got that one wrong, Mr. Park. Except, oh, x squared plus. What time is it? Okay, that's 16 minutes left. Well, find the range. Okay, what's the procedure for finding range? Solve for x. You have to solve for x. Okay, so first step, cross multiply. So 4x squared y plus 4y equals 4x plus 3. See how it's quadratic? So you're gonna have to use the quadratic formula at least once tomorrow, maybe even twice. Okay. So you want to put this in quadratic form like this. Maybe just do this. Okay. Here's the x squared term. What's the coefficient? What's next to the x squared? 4y. No, I love talking to myself. Here is the x term. If I bring it on this side, what's the coefficient going to be? It rhymes with negative 4.
Negative 4.
Oh, you guys are on it today. And then everything else that doesn't have x in it. If you bring this 3 over, isn't that going to be 4y minus 3? And please do it correctly, because I remember 2 tests ago. See, because once you do it wrong and you're going to try and do it, it's going to get all ugly. But even if it's ugly, you finish the problem, because then you only get minus 1. But if you don't finish the problem, that's where you're going to get a lot of points taken up. So, once I have it in quadratic form, should I use the quadratic formula? You can, okay. Oh, you guys don't listen. Oh, let's just use quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, like I told you before, you don't have to, just do this part. And inside of the radical gotta be greater than or equal to 0. That's all you have to do is set b squared minus 4ac greater than or equal to 0. You don't have to write out the whole quadratic formula thing. But that's okay, we're doing it. Okay, so this thing in the radical must be greater than or equal to 0. Write that down on your paper because that's a key step. So 16, oh, what kind of chalk is this? 16 minus 64y squared plus 48y gotta be greater than or equal to 0. Did I do that correctly? 16 times 3, yeah? Okay, there we go. It's quadratic! So leave the numbers big like this. No, reduce! What can I reduce this by? If you were smart, you would reduce by oh. What number goes into all of these?
4. 16.
Yeah, but not so you don't divide by 16, you divide by Leon. Negative 16. Because you want the first term to be positive. You know what I'm talking about? You want the first term to be positive, so divide by negative 16. So that's 4y squared minus 3y minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. That's why a lot of you guys have trouble, because you make the first term negative and you try to factor or use quadratic formula, you get all lost. If you make the first term positive, it just makes life a lot easier. 4y and y, 1 and 1 minus plus. Number line time, negative 1/4 and 1. Yes, yes. See, if you make the first term positive, you don't even have to think. It's always going to be plus minus plus, right? And we're looking for less than or equal to 0. So the range is going to be from negative 1/4 to 1. Okay, Garrett, probability is 1. This problem is on the test. Okay, you have to be able to find range by using quadratic formula. Okay. Okay, what about number 5? You guys can do that? Okay, that problem's on the test, but like I said, this one comes out to a line. Tomorrow not going to be line. It'll be parabola or cubic or something. Shall we just skip to number 7 already? You guys, how am I supposed to know if you guys don't say anything? You guys don't write anything on the board, you don't say anything. I'm just going to sit there, Mrs. Park. You can't make me talk. You're right, I can't make you talk. And I'm not going to. I don't care, no, I can be silent too. Watch this. I'm going to be silent on this hardest problem on the test. I'm going to stare at the camera. Okay, here's a function. There's a function f that has this property. Okay, I don't know what the function is. In fact, I wonder if you could find the function. Yeah, you probably could, but it would be very difficult. Okay. All I want to know is, I don't want to know what the function is. I just want to know what is f of 5. In other words, when the x coordinate is 5, what is the y coordinate? How many people did this problem? 2 people. 2 people. That's it. You should write this down. Period 3, 2. Period 4. Period 6. Okay, so if you want to find f of 5, okay, let me tell you this. You can plug in any number you want for x. What would be a good number to plug for x? No, no. We're trying to find f of 5. 5! You plug in 5 because then you get f of 5. Because that's what you're trying to find. So all you gotta do is plug in 5 wherever you see x. Just do it. Wherever you see x, plug in 5. Go. F of negative 4 minus 4 f of 5 equals 5. Hey, there's f of 5. Okay, so tomorrow, okay, the probability is 1. This is on tomorrow's test, okay. So tomorrow, if it says find f of 7, what are you going to do? You're going to plug in 7. Well, not guaranteed. It just depends. Like, what if tomorrow this was x plus 1? I'm just saying, what if? Because you guys got to learn to extend. If I ask you to find f of 7, what would you plug in for x? 6, because 6 plus 1 is 7. You guys get it? You plug in numbers to help you solve the problem. Okay, but this problem is 5. Yo, but Mr. Park, how can I find what f of 5 is if I don't know what f of negative 4 is? Well, what do you think I'm going to do next then? Plug in negative 4 for x. Because then you get f of negative 4. Okay, so plug in negative 4 for x here. What do you get? F of 5. Plug in negative 4. People, if you can't plug in integers, it's all over tomorrow. Plug in negative 4 plus 5 f of negative 4. Oh, what kind of chalk is this? Is equal to 5. There you go. Now you got 2 equations, 2 variables. Just solve it. Do you want me to solve it? Do you guys understand? Okay, here. Why don't we call f of 5, what do you want to call it? A. And why don't we call f of negative 4 b? Because every year I give this problem, and they don't understand. What do you mean 2 equations, 2 variables? Well, you don't know what f of 5 is. That's a variable. You don't know what f of negative 4 is. That's a variable. So why don't we call f of 5a and f of negative 4b? So isn't this the same thing as b minus 4a equal 5? And this equation is a plus 5b equals 5. See, 2 equations, 2 variables. It's just algebra 1. And you solve it. Okay, we got 8 minutes left. So what's the fastest way to solve it? You want to do the addition subtraction method or just substitution? What? Look, this equation right here. Isn't that the oh, darn chalk? Isn't this the same thing as b equals 4a plus 5? It's easy to solve for b, and then you plug it into here. So a plus 5b, which is 4a plus 5, equal 5. So a plus 20a plus 25 is equal to 5. 21a equal negative 20. A equal negative 20 over 21. Cancel the 2, so you get negative 0 over 1, which is 0. That's done! So is that the answer, negative 20 over 21? Yeah, because we called A f of 5, and that's what we're trying to find, right? So that's the answer. So when you see this problem, do you guys, okay, those of you who just copying it off the board now, how you going to prepare for tomorrow's one? Just look at it, go, for the test. Oh yeah, I can do that. No, I guarantee you. You take this home and you do it again. And see if you can do it on your own. Because you know tomorrow it's going to be kicked up a notch, right? It's not going to be like that. I mean, it will be, but kicked up a notch. Okay, we got time for one more problem. Okay, number 9, that might be on tomorrow's test, right? But you got to use quadratic form, and it's going to be some kind of tilted graph. Like number 9, what did it come out to? Who did it? What is it? Tilted parabola. Liam said yes. Jai? Huh? Tilted hyperbola. You got a tilted ellipse?
Yeah.
You got another tilted ellipse. Interesting. I don't think so. I think it should be a tilted parabola, you know. Wait, b squared. Oh no, it's an ellipse. It's an ellipse. You're right. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow's one. No, that's going to be, if there is one. Okay, so which one are we doing then? We got time for one more. Pick one. 10. Okay, word problem. Okay, here we go. A can in the shape of a right circular cone, bottom included, is to be made from 1 square meter of material. Find the radius of the can. Okay, let's call that the height. That will maximize the volume. So what are we trying to maximize here? The volume. So we need to write a function for the volume so we can graph it on our calculator. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. But we have 2 variables. I need to get rid of one of these variables with another equation. So what should I do? Similar triangles. Is this the one I use similar triangles? No, this is not the one. So how do I write another equation? Did they give me other information? Yeah, it says you gotta make this from 1 square meter of material. The surface area of this can has to be equal to 1. Okay, how do you find the surface area of the can? Well, you got a circle on the bottom. Circle on the bottom. Pi r squared plus the lateral area, pi r L. You guys didn't know your formulas, otherwise it's minus 8, right? Well, L is the slant height. What is the slant height? Isn't it the square root of h squared plus r squared if you use the quadratic formula? So pi r times the slant height, that has to equal to 1. That's your other equation. So what you have to do is, in this equation, you got to solve for h and then plug it in here. Okay, so how do you solve for h in this equation? It's just algebra. Subtract. So pi r square root of h squared plus r squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared. Divide by pi r. Square root of h squared plus r squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared over, oh gosh, over pi r. Square both sides. H squared plus r squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared over pi r squared. How do I solve for h? Quick, we got 3 minutes. Subtract the r squared. So h squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared over pi r. Quantity squared minus r squared. And finally, square root both sides. H equals plus or minus the square root, but we're only going to take the minus one, I mean the plus one, because you can't have negative height, right? 1 minus, this is all algebra 1, man, there's no thinking. There, that's what h is. You take that ugly critter and you put it in there. Yeah, you put it in the bag. Live action. But you know what the hard part is? Punching it in on your calculator. I'm going to warn you right now. The calculator part is for you. You guys got to practice. So take this, plug it in here, graph it on your calculator, and we want to maximize the volume. So there's going to be a hump like this, and you calculate the maximum. Okay, that's as far as it. I mean, I did all the hard work. The least you can do is punch it in on your calculator. Well, you got to prove to me tomorrow that you can do it. So I wouldn't be surprised that this is the word problem tomorrow. I kind of like this one. I don't know which one I like better. This one, I don't know. I will decide at lunch today. Anyway, so tomorrow, if I do give you this, all I'm going to do will change the number. That's all the thing. Unless I do something else. Oh, I just thought of a problem. Remember that one where you have the can, and then you gotta solder it? You did this yesterday. Maybe you gotta solder this. I like that. Like that. Oh, I know. Now there's a third problem I want to. I'm going to give you one. Okay, the bell's going to ring in a minute. If you have last minute questions, come tomorrow morning. And let's do a good job on the homework because we don't want to pull a Morris.